For the last few weeks, we've been talking about the principles, the Declaration of Principles, which are the backbone for religious science, science of mind. And today, the last one is the principle of understanding, which is a great culmination of all of them. So I'm going to talk to you about the principle of understanding as taught in kindergarten. Share everything, play fair, don't hit people, put things back where you found them, clean up your own mess, don't take things that don't belong to you, say you're sorry when you hurt somebody, wash your hands before you eat, flush, warm cookies and cold milk are good for you, live a balanced life, learn some, think some, draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work every day some. Take a nap every afternoon. When you go out into the world, watch out for traffic, hold hands, and stick together. Everything you need to know is in these words somewhere. The golden rule and love and basic evolution. Ecology and politics are the same for everyone living. Think what a better world it would be if the whole world had cookies and milk about 3 o'clock every afternoon and laid down with their blankies and took a nap. The answer to everything. And it is still true, no matter where you go, how far you go, when you go out into the world, it is better to hold hands and stick together. This is understanding put very simply. Those ideas I've shared with you came from a book. All I really ever needed to know I learned in kindergarten. And it was written by a very famous man, and he had a lot of good things to say. The principle of understanding represents a deeper level, deeper than simple knowledge. We've all been asked at times in conversation, talking to people in class, do you understand? Simple enough, but what does this question bring up? And inner questioning usually allows us to analyze what's taking place at the moment. What can I learn from this? What is the benefit and how does it concern me? Greater understanding, compassion, patience, sensitivity, thoughtful contemplation. We get in touch and become aware of what is taking place in the present moment, because we talk a lot about the present moment, being in the moment here and now. Now, there's no magic potion, no fairy dust, no one to push us, no one to do it for us, just one determined foot placed before the other. What a gift to know through our understanding that we are able to create our own world, create exactly what we choose for ourselves. Have you ever had the feeling, I know, and I know that I know? Have you had that experience? It's an inherent nudge, we call it the divine urge, something that natters to us and says, come on, listen to what I'm saying. And when we listen, what takes place is our consciousness expands. It expands to a greater awareness, deeper understanding, allowing us to really be in touch with what is taking place. We begin to plug into and turn on to that great awareness that is always available to us. We become available to it and we turn ourselves into it so that we require more from it. And what that does, as we begin to feel it, it increases our heart rate, our breathing. It feels great. There's energy. There's knowing. There's that goodness that says, you are my beloved, and I am so well pleased. Now, there is the law of mind, and it's everywhere present, but it appears sometimes that we limit ourselves by not understanding it or not being able to use it. But as we become more aware of what's taking place, where we are, what we're doing, then the possibilities of being more understanding come to fruition. And that comes from faith, the faith in knowing that we can do it. You've heard me say before, miracles come in cans. I can do it. I can be it. I can have it. And isn't that great to know that I am available? As I open my heart and my mind, everything begins to take place. And what an incredible adventure. Now, the definition of knowledge acquaints us with facts, truth, or principles that are known. The definition of understanding, we grasp the idea, we comprehend, and we accept the fact with belief. So there's the operative word, belief. What is it that gets our attention? What is it that allows us to feel so good about the moment that we're in? The moment that you're here right now. The moment that you woke up this morning and said, yes, life is great. Life is that gift. Life is what this is all about. We talk about the science of mind, which is everywhere present in this philosophy. And mind marries with science. Now, science is acquired knowledge, a formula of how something operates. The science of mathematics is a known quantity which always produces a number, a formula, and it can always be proven. The mind, which is spirit, is invisible. We talk about invisibility and what takes place because we know that it is available to us as we put our thought into our mind and begin to conjure up what it is that we desire, what takes place. The manifestation, the demonstration becomes visible to us. Because we are beginning to understand how this works. And it comes with our belief system. What is it that is really true for each one of us? What is true for what we do, how we respond, not react, but respond to what's taking place? And how do we label it? Is it good? Is it not so good? And what do we do about it when it shows up? You've heard the phrase, change your thinking. And what does that do? It changes our life. But we need to become consciously aware of the understanding and the respondability that comes with that understanding, with opening ourselves to the unlimited good that God continues to provide us. The power of our mind is marvelous. It knows exactly what to do. And who prompts it? Who puts the key in the ignition and starts the motor? Each one of us, through the power of our thought, through the power that moves us from one moment to the next, that gives us our individuality, that allows us to stand up and be seen, that allows us to move into the light, that allows us to take on what it is we choose to do. The freedom to express, the freedom that allows us to move in this wonderful world. This weekend is the last weekend for the summer, and it's Labor Day weekend. And so it allows us to really get in touch with what's taking place. Okay, we have a season that's just about ready to end, being fall or summer. We're moving into fall, and how exciting is that? Because it allows us to have a new concept, a new perception, a new idea of how everything operates. Where are we in this scenario? Where are we in what is taking place? We're our own experience. Have you ever heard that one? Really? You mean I'm here because? Yes. You're here because of everything you have ever done, seen, been, had, Oh boy, that's a biggie. But the good news is, you can change that. Up until now, maybe that's probably what's been taking place. Up until now, you've possibly had concerns. Something isn't serving you. Something isn't quite right. Something is not understood in what is taking place in my life right now. But what happens when we sit down and are quiet and decide, choose through freedom, because we're the only ones that decide for ourselves what it is that we want to demonstrate, what we want to encourage in our life, what we want to see take place. And for everyone sitting here, you all have a different idea. And isn't that terrific? You realize how boring it would be if we were all thinking the same thing, doing the same thing? I mean, there's people sitting here that on a weekend they go bird watching. There are other people sitting here that go out and do garage sailing. There are other people here that go to NASCAR races. There are other people that do these fabulous things that are right and true for each one of them. What a gift. What a tremendous gift to know that I am able, through the power of my mind, to change what is taking place in my life right now. Right now, where I sit, where I breathe, where I move and have my being. Wow, that is incredible. Because the beauty of all that is that we're all going to do it differently. Ever been in a class anywhere and the teacher says, here's pen and paper, draw a picture, and somebody says, I don't know how to draw a picture. Sure you do. Sit down and just let it flow. And as you sit there and take deep breaths, because I could never draw, so I'm always very encouraged and love to see people who are artistic, but I can do other things. So what that takes place is as the picture comes together, as the colors come, as the form comes, as the pencil moves or ink across the paper, what happens? It transcends into something grand. And when the teacher puts up all the pages on the wall, what happens? They're all different. And everybody sitting there is feeling so good because I did that. I did that because I understand how this principle operates. I understand that I am the gift. I understand that God moves through me constantly. And as I sit down and am quiet and listen and tune in and plug into that knowing, that essence, the visible, what shows up. And how exciting. Because it comes in a new package. It comes in a new gift. The gift has been given. And my expression and knowing of that is, when the gift comes, open it up. Well, but I've been treating about this. I've been doing affirmative prayer about that. And this, something else showed up. Okay, ever think that maybe that was better? Ever think that God has a better plan for you? Because many times what we are thinking is right for us, because that's how we're thinking, God says, okay, Sheila, that's great, but let's consider this. And so the package comes, and I open it, and I go, wow, this and something better. Ever heard that one? Because that's how it all takes place. That comes from the understanding of knowing, of really knowing who and what we are. As I said before, we take responsibility for everything that we do. There's no magic potion, no fairy dust, no one to push us, no one to do it for us. Just giving our attention to what it is we desire to experience. and through the power of belief, keeping our focus in what it is we choose to experience. This becomes the goal, this becomes a vision, this becomes the focus. And the visible always shows up. I want to share these thoughts about a young boy who is very clear about his understanding of God, and it's called Ain't. He was just a little boy on a week's first day, wandering home from Bible school and dawdling on the way. He scuffed his shoes into the grass. He even found a caterpillar. He found a fluffy milkweed pod and blew out all the filler. A bird's nest in a tree overhead, so wisely placed up so high, was just another wonder that caught his eager eye. A neighbor watching his zigzag course and hailed him from the lawn, asked him where he'd been this day and what was going on. "I've been to Bible school," he said, and turned a piece of sod. He picked up a wiggly worm, replying, "I've learned a lot about God." Very fine way," the neighbor said, "for a boy to spend his time. If you'll tell me where God is, I'll give you a brand new dime." Quick as a flash, the answer came, nor were this accent faint. "I'll give you $1, mister, if you can tell me where God ain't." Winnie the Pooh proclaimed to one of his friends, "Promise me always to remember, you are braver than you believe, and stronger than you've seen, and smarter than you think, and you understand more than you'll ever know." Please join me in a closing prayer as we become aware, totally aware, of the understanding and the glory of this wonderful philosophy, of this wonderful day, of the wonder within me now that resides so close. That isness that always speaks to me and allows me to be the gift. And as the gift comes, I unwrap it, I see it, I enjoy it, and I allow it to be mine by right of consciousness. I know this is the way this stuff works because it's always for my highest good. So I radiate in this day, in this moment, in this sanctuary with like-minded people, and I'm so grateful for all of it, all of the gifts, all of the abundance that is mine, that continues to flow to me and through me. And as I receive, I give in return, and it continues to be ongoing. I know that life is good to me, and life is good for me, and I am so very grateful. And knowing and celebrating and expecting and accepting that to be so, I just let it be. And together we say, and so it is.